Welcome, welcome. This is G. You're watching Allastrology, the week of July 28th and the following 7 days. Let's take a look at this. We've had some interesting charts kicking off in July. And this one, the devil's in the details. I have Jupiter and Venus right there together. These two will actually be conjunct. Not in July, but they will be conjunct in August. So we start the week off, Jupiter at 11 degrees in Cancer, the shock and surprise energy, the public. These are judges and judgments, authority figures, somebody in charge, immigration, home, family, and women, emotional security, emotional stability, emotional safety. This week, we'll continue with the shocks and surprises. And Jupiter actually goes to 12 degrees on Saturday, August 2nd. Okay? So for this week, we've got Jupiter for about 5-6 days, right? Where it's at the 11 degree mark. So knowing this ahead of time can kind of help. 11 degrees can be group energy and friends. Social services, social systems. Give me some examples down below. Maybe something happened in your life. This is Fortuna that I have drawn in here, that I have an arrow pointed to. And I am expecting Fortuna to kind of show up in a big way. Fortuna can be that because she is about your fortunes, but it's the sway and the highs and the lows of one's fortunes. This week, Fortuna starts off at 0, but she'll go to 4 degrees. This is really key. There's a lot happening in Leo that's a big deal. It wasn't just that new moon, that very powerful authority figure behind closed doors, truths coming out, sort of new beginning, new cycle. But Mercury's in that retrograde, you see. Mercury is always gathering information. In a retrograde mode, she is getting the details. In Leo, play, fun, taking risks, having a good time, romance. Mercury's retrograde goes all the way back to 4 degrees, right where Fortuna is sitting by the end of the week. I think this is going to be a thing with Fortuna. I don't want to get overly optimistic, but at least there should be some sort of a significant, or at least a measurable change in people's ideals and their beliefs about their future pertaining to authority figures, pertaining to people that they consider a leader and that they follow and that they believe in, right? I think because remember Jupiter there in Cancer, the public, Jupiter represents the beliefs. Values, money, and desires Venus, and she goes to 29 degrees, that critical degree, that crisis point degree. It's in news, it is information. And at that same time, this is like July 30th, Wednesday, you have the Sun and Mercury conjunct. There's big information coming through, and it's very likely it happens the day before even. And with Jupiter and Venus now in Cancer, the public's emotions, their feelings, their sentiment, their beliefs about things that are being either revealed or simply as they're observing the checkbook and they're hearing about the cuts that are being made through insurance, through Social Security, through Medicaid. Like there's a ton of different things. Healthcare and hospitals already closing big time. A sense of security that was once there, and then realizing this is just the tip of the iceberg. The finding out stage is really like coming in full throttle here, like we're in 5th gear or something, So there's a combination of things going on. And for people in charge, Congress members, I think the public isn't going to be real happy. Again, Fortuna is a big deal. I have it written in August 1st and August 2nd. That's when Fortuna is in opposition to Pluto. So again, this is about paying attention. We're going to see how big of a deal is Fortuna. Depending upon where Fortuna is located in your chart, whether she's got conjunctions and squares and trines to her. I've seen people's chart where when Fortuna gets spoken to, when it's sitting at the table with other planets, in their chart, it seems to play out where it's either a positive or negative. It really comes down to how she is set up in your chart, how she's aspected. Pluto's part of this kite. It's Pluto and Uranus that create what they call a mini trine, which is the top part of the kite. The top, which is the main part, which is where all of the energy flows through and where we see it expressed, is this retrograding Saturn and this retrograding Neptune. So Neptune comes in and can dissolve some of Saturn's rules. And this makes me think of whether it's different judgments that are made, and then other judges come in and they make other calls and they say, oh, we can put a stop on that. So there's so much of it in the States that you can't even keep track. But this can definitely be that. All right. So that is the kite, and that basically wraps up this week.